is the project whose, the barrels, these simple barrels from the late 50s and finally the Visconti. And in the mid-60s also I did sculpture. Actually, there's several sculptural barrels in different collections in the museum. Rijksmuseum, Kroonenmühlen and Otterlo, they have a 56 barrel sculpture in their garden, and they have a barrel sculpture in their museum collection. Basically, it's very banal industrial object who is very colorful and used for a variety of reasons, but mostly is that module. And in 1960, mid-60, we used the barrels for the Clos de Rue Visconti in the gallery in 61 and Cologne. But also, when the vertical is like that, when you stack them horizontally, they created shape called Mastaba. Now, the Mastaba is not a pyramid. It's much older than a pyramid. The Mastaba is one of the oldest geometric form known for humanity and the first city place we know about around the world in a country called Mesopotamia. And Mesopotamia, first time we know that the street exists in town, and the front of these mud houses, the people living there build bench. That benches, they have two mud benches to sit down in front of the house. You have a two slanted wall, two vertical wall, and flat top, and you sit on that things. And curiously enough, in the area we like to do a project in Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Abu Dhabi, in some of the villages, they still have these benches, and these benches they call Mastaba. All the site of our project come to the very personal relation. I was not working, I was not sitting in the studio here up, putting my finger to the Abu Dhabi area thing we do their project. In 1972, became friendly with the French representative to United Nations, Monsieur de Guérengot. Monsieur de Guérengot was collector, and he bought some of our things. Looking at the Mastaba for Kroonenmühlen Museum or Texas, oh no, Christo, you have a little chance to do that project there. Probably try, the country was just created, 1972. There was a British protectorate, it called United Arab Emirates by Sheikh Zayed Al Nahyan, the ruler of Abu Dhabi. Because we were very excited, very early drawings there of the Mastaba, of mid-70s. And I started to find books and make the drawings there. And when Giscard d'Estaing was elected president of France, Monsieur Giscard d'Estaing nominated our friend, foreign secretary of Minister des Affaires étrangères of France. And Jean-Claude, I remember, called Monsieur de Guérengot, Louis, we'd like to go to Abu Dhabi. And this is why, in 1979, the French Foreign Office organized our arrival in Abu Dhabi. And since that time is the history. Yeah, and I give you the book of the Mastaba because there are a lot of pictures of early periods there. And we spent a lot of time, and this is Jean-Claude and myself in 1979, 80. And we spent a lot of time between 79 and early 80s, but we never work on one project. We work on many projects simultaneously. We need to finish the surrounded island, we finish the Pont-Neuf, we need to finish the umbrellas, I think. And the war between Iran and Iraq started in the mid-80s, became very nasty there. Only after the gates, Jean-Claude and myself, we returned, here Jean-Claude the last time in 2007, to the Mastaba site. And now we are full speed working on the project, and we're involving now. The project is, if it's happened, I know it will happen, you will see in the book, will be the biggest sculpture. It always was sculptures to stay, like other sculptures we have, to stay the biggest sculptures in the world. It will be bigger than Pyramid of Cheops. It will be 150 meters high, 300 meters on the base of vertical wall, and 225 meters on the slanted wall. Its proportion is 2, 3, 4. Now, it's built by 410,000 barrels, Rolls-Royce barrels, in normal size barrels, 60 centimeter diameter, 89 centimeter high, but roll and color with our way of coloring, very German company working that. Each vertical wall have 110,000 colors, barrels with all the 10 different colors, and the number of what, how many, is in the book, because we built scale model in 1979, almost the size of that area, and we know exactly how the project should be built. And now, right now, we are in the, all the work is now in the Berlin, in the engineering office. They are doing wind tunnel tests and structural drawings, etc. We're flying to Berlin for that things, and and early November we're flying to Abu Dhabi. We'll do work. There are many things there, but we hope to be realized. There are many things going around right now.